Yes, and we're still here, chilling with Flexi. So, Mr. Flexi, tell us about art. What is art according to you, and what is it that you love about it as well?
Okay, so what is art? Basically, for me, art is anything you can create, you can call art. It's up to you.
Of course.
But it wasn't always like that. It's only recently, like in the 1970s, when they introduced an art movement called Conceptual Art.
Okay.
Which means that the idea is the art. Yeah. So what happened? There was a movement in the 1920s, and the movement was called Dada. And it had different artists from different places. Okay. And these artists had a main goal and a connecting goal, which was to break art apart.
Okay.
Which was to refresh art, which was to make art new. So one of the artists who was participating in that movement was called Marcel Duchamp.
Marcel Duchamp?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what race was he?
He's white, probably French, but
sounds like French.
Yeah, but he was from the United States. I don't know if he was French or not, but he was an American-based artist, Marcel Duchamp. So Marcel Duchamp had this artwork, which is, you see the what's it, urinal, the one guy's peeing in the toilet. Yeah. So he took that, then he wrote Armat. Then he put it in a gallery. Then he called it art.
What?
Yeah.
Wrote it what?
R.M.U.T.T. Then he put it in a gallery. Then he said this is art. Then the traditional people of art were shocked. Like, what is this? Huh? What is this?
Yeah, no, so also, like, I'm trying to imagine it.
He didn't do anything to it. That's when they introduced what they call ready-made art. So he takes stuff like the urinal I'm talking about. He also had one where he takes a bicycle, flipped it over, and then put it in a gallery.
Yeah, I saw something funny like that in a movie. This artist took a toaster and he put flowers inside, and then it was art.
And
I also looked at it and I was like, what the hell kind of art is this?
So that's the point now we have gotten to in art history, where anything can be art.
Okay.
Yeah, anything can be art. But now that raises a question in terms of the quality now. Because you can do anything and anyone can do anything of different ages, but is it quality?
Sure. So what determines the quality?
What determines the quality is your craftsmanship, your skill, and the strength of your content.
Okay.
Yeah, that determines the quality. You'll see that, okay, this is strong, and this was made on purpose. It wasn't accidental.
So, we'll continue a little bit. I just want to know, so with that little definition, how does Marcel's work then?
So Marcel Duchamp was tired of the traditional approach. So let's go to the traditional approach. So when art was starting out, it was used to, well, at least in European history, it was used to capture royalty and other people of privilege.
Of course.
So it was like a bourgeoisie type of vibe.
Yeah.
You check. So you'd have your people of class sitting and they painted and they looked so nice.
Sure.
It was even better than some photographs.
Yeah.
You see. So there were specific paints you use for that. There were specific brushes you use for that. There was specific training you had to go to be in that space. So people like Michelangelo, people like Leonardo da Vinci, those guys were part of this strong heritage of traditional art. Then the years went by, so close to 1900. That's when it started to break apart a bit.
Yes.
And
That whole Dada movement.
no, before that,
Okay.
there was a movement. There was a guy called Paul Cézanne. Paul Cézanne, yeah, Cezanne, Paul Cézanne. So he was tired of accurately depicting these noble people and whatnot. Then he started his own type of rendition, but he was not popular among the people. They didn't understand what he was doing. They were like, no man, your art is stupid.
Sure.
You see, it's not accurate, it's not to the T. And at the same time, there was also another group of guys called the Impressionists. So their aim was to capture light, not accuracy in form. So they were also slowly moving away from the whole accuracy type of vibe.
Sure.
So this is close to 1900. Then also there was another guy which is very famous now, Pablo Picasso.
Picasso, yes.
Picasso, yeah.
Yes,
His
we all know
record,
Pablo.
you've seen.
Yeah.
So he then got influenced by Paul Cézanne's style. Then he also started breaking apart until he started a movement which is now famous called Cubism. Yeah. So that's when now he was drawing in triangles and whatnot to get the basic shape. Yeah. So if you want to look at his work, you can Google Pablo Picasso. You see, but he was trained in the traditional art. So when he was 16, 17, he was drawing very beautiful, accurate depictions. But he also felt the question I faced, which is, I need to create my own style, and he moved away from that. Then he started breaking art apart. So that's now the beginning of this art, which is moving away from the traditional perspective.
Yeah.
Then 1920s, there were two powerful movements. One is the Dada, and the other one is the. Okay, when it comes back, I'll let you know. But it had intellectuals who, there's this term called juxtaposition, where you put two opposing content together to form a unified image, to create value for either image. So, for example, you put ice cream, which is not melting, in fire.
Okay.
So in fire, ice cream should melt.
Yeah.
So, but now you're juxtaposing the two, which is the ice cream is not melting, and the fire, which is supposed to melt. So now with that increases your focus on what? On the fire and the ice cream. So you juxtapose the two. Yeah. So these guys were doing that, but I forgot the name. But during editing, I'll remember. Then we'll put in the name at the bottom.
Right.
So these two movements now smashed the traditional apart. Picasso came through now with his Cubism. Art smashed apart. Dada came through, they just smashed everything.
Ripped it all.
They smashed, and they were responding also to the World War which was happening, because 1914 to 1919 or 1918 there was a war. So their emotions were high, their emotions were all over the place.
Everything was a bit, everything seemed like it was falling apart. So to break all tradition made sense.
Why not art fall apart as well? If you guys know the Mona Lisa, Marcel Duchamp, Mona Lisa was, I think, Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci. Then Marcel Duchamp put a mustache.
I've seen that.
Oh, so that's not Photoshop?
Those guys broke art apart.
So the guy, did he repaint the Mona Lisa with the mustache, or did he go to the original Mona Lisa?
No, he couldn't go to the original because they store their things proper.
Okay.
If even like that's assuming the original still exists.
Yeah.
Because there's art fraud.
Of
So
course,
yeah, so if it still exists, he wouldn't be able to get to it. But maybe he had a printout. Then on the printout, so you're taking now a prized possession of art history and you're just putting a mustache. That means that you're saying it's done.
Yeah.
That's what they did. The Dada movement.
Case closed.
And it was a rap. They broke it apart. Then another movement which broke art apart. So now my train of thought is going to how we got to anything can be art.
Can be art, yes.
So in the 1950s, 1960s, then came a group of American Impressionists or Expressionists. So there was a guy there called Jackson Pollock.
I know the name.
Yeah, Jackson Pollock. So Jackson Pollock would stand over his artwork on the ground, cigarette in his mouth. He'd dip the brush, then he'd just go. Then he'd step back, then he'd look,
Splat some more.
and like, let me change color.
Yeah.
You see, but that's not how he started. But this urge of each artist, like you get to a point where you're like, I need to figure out my own style.
Sure.
You check.
Sure.
So he felt like this was representing the style he was happy with. Yeah. So he was also one of the people now who
breaking it all apart.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this it sounds like he's just making a mess. Not
Yeah.
really doing
But for
anything
him,
productive.
so it's, for him, he'd get stressed now because reviews are not that good, but he feels like he's contributing.
Of course.
And when you look at now, after he has passed on, and you see that you're still talking about him, then what did he do? He had an impact.
He had an impact.
You see,
Yeah.
so that's one of the people. Then there was another guy called Andy Warhol. Yeah, so this other white guy, also from the United States. So he introduced what is called popular art. So what he would do is he would take popular images like Marilyn Monroe and other figures which are popular at that time. Then he'd create prints or make artwork out of those things, and it was popular art because it was capturing the popular things of the time. So like cans of fish, like anything which was for that time.
For that time.
Yeah, he was capturing that. Then then that was Andy Warhol. Then there was also another movement which was called minimalism. Minimalism. So basically minimalism is where they would use like one color for an artwork, or they'd use two colors. Like you paint a background black, then you go over with one white line. Then you step back and like that's the artwork.
Sure.
You see. So now when you accumulate all this history, the gallery structure or the museum structure, the art history structure couldn't control anymore the definition of art. So art couldn't be what they were saying it is. Then art became what the people or the artist says it is. Then conceptual art was the one that just because now they introduced different media, because we also had photography, like videos, performance art, then art was just
So let's now fast forward to you, right? So you after having learnt about all of these people, what sort of art did you make, or would you say you make?
I can't say what art I'm making yet because I'm still busy. You see, it's still closely related to what has been created. So my art, you could say, it's assemblage or it's collage, because it's mixing different media to produce an effect. For example, I've pasted plastic, I've pasted you know the bag, the sack that carries onions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've pasted that. I've used wool. There's this glue which I use, so I pasted those two things which closes the tip. Yeah. I've pasted buttons. I've pasted beads. You see. Yeah. So it's a collage. It's a collage. Then where I'm going, no, I won't say where I'm going. You'll see where I'm going.
Yeah.
But as soon as I feel like I've done something new, I will call you guys and I'll show you the new stuff. Because it's in my head now. I can't share it. But when I was beginning with color, when I started using paint, my mission was like, I'm not gonna do like I did with pencil, which is I won't work from reference photos. I'm gonna go from my impulse. So it was impulse, or automatic painting, which is equal to another art movement, which is automatic drawing.
Okay.
So basically, you can even equate it to abstract art, where you just get your paint and your paintbrush, then you go. But now I couldn't just allow it to be like that. I always wanted a form which is recognizable. I didn't want to lose the viewer too much. So along the way, I'd see, that's a person's body. So let me enhance this body which has come about after I splashed the paint. So for example, a Jackson Pollock would splash, and leave it. So if I were to splash, I'd splash, I'm like, that looks like a head. Then I'd go in so that the viewer can at least identify
what
image
might be.
So along the way, after I had gone through a couple of months doing that, releasing my creativity, then I started mixing it with the skill of realistic drawing, which I'd learned in the beginning. Then now I'm creating form which is recognizable. Like for example, you can see that these are human beings. It's one behind the other and they're wearing masks. But now I'm incorporating the impulse which I gathered by doing the impulse approach in the beginning. My art is assemblage, collage, with focus on creating identifiable form. But it won't always be like that.
All right. It's always transforming. It's always evolving.
It's flexible.
It's flexible. It's flexible. So
but then and I feel you, and I think artists need to study even more what art is, because sometimes I might be an artist and still wouldn't know I am one. I'm out there as an accountant or as an engineer doing the things, but I'm just an artist, like in a corporate world. You feel me? But I think we should take a quick break and then come back, discuss your work.
Yes.
Yes.
We're gonna come back. Before we leave though, remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell your friends.
To tell the other friends, to tell the other ones. Do the things.
Let's do the things. Sure.